Good afternoon, Mets fans, and welcome to a Monday edition of Drivin with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and this weekend, Saturday in particular, I had a huge smile on my face. Can you guess why? Yes, the answer is because I heard the SNY/Picks opening jingle to kick off the season. Yes, baseball is back. Yes, it's just spring training games, but my God, there are fewer things in the world that make me smile, like hearing that song and following that up with seeing Gary, Keith, and Ron on the screen. Boy, it was a beautiful weekend. And yes, the Mets didn't win any games that they played, but who cares? It's spring training. Baseball is back. I'm going to talk about it on today's show. So the wait is over. The noise is gone. All that's left is baseball. And I was saying it for the last 2 weeks. There's very little that we can do to turn off the background noise and the for lack of a better word, the bullshit that goes on with the preseason stuff and the off-season stuff, and the papers doing and the media doing its best to drum up interest in their reporting and their stories and everything else. And as I talked about on Friday, there's a point in time where you just sort of have to step away from it and be like, man, how much more negativity can we deal with, right? Even when the Mets do something good and right, few and far between, I know, but even that gets twisted around. Like all the stuff with the minor league facilities that they built at Port St. Lucie at Clover Park, which, by the way, judging from what we could see on the TV broadcast, looks like they did a phenomenal job with revamping the stadium, and that clubhouse looks beautiful and fantastic, and there's just some really cool stuff that they did. But even that got twisted into something to fuel the LOL Mets narrative. And I talked about this on Friday too. The media's decisions to play to the now and play for clickbait and manipulate words and write ridiculous headlines. It leads to things like what happened with Cespedes last week when he said, "Screw it, I'm not talking to the media at all this year." And as we know, he obviously changed his mind within a couple of days because he spoke with the media over the weekend. But it's high time that the clickbait journalism goes away, and that we restore some order to what is supposed to be reporting and fact gathering and fact sharing, and that's what it needs to return to. Not conjecture, not hyperbole, not how can I get a rise out of the Mets Twitter crowd. It's old and tired, and it's honestly, it's the reason I left Facebook. I got off of Facebook a year ago, and I don't miss it at all. And I'll tell you what, man, Twitter's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And yes, you can customize your feed and mute things and hide things, but man, what's the point? What's the point of having to hide everything? And so tailor your ecosystem so that you don't hear anything or see anything you don't want to see. It shouldn't be like that. But man, a lot of times it's just you're reading stuff, and it's like one pitch into spring training, everyone's pissed off about Steven Matz. Matz is terrible. Give up a home run in his second pitch. Sorry, I should have said 2 pitches. Matz is terrible. Get rid of him. Put him in the bullpen. He's throwing 2 pitches. It's an exhibition game, right? He's pitching 1 inning. So we have to stop as a fan base. Stop throwing gasoline on these fires that the media wants us to keep throwing gasoline on. Don't fall for stuff like this. I've never understood the type of fan who finds the negative in everything. And I think a lot of them look at me and think, you're crazy, you find the positive in everything. But my view has always been I love this team. I don't care what happens. I love this team. Nothing will change that for me. Nothing. I mean, not to quote the president, but the Mr. Met could go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and be caught on camera, and I would still love the Mets. That's a terrible analogy, but that's how I feel. I love this team. This team means the world to me. It's sitting down on Saturday and listening to the music and listening to Gary, Keith, and Ron. It was like sitting down with old friends that I haven't seen in a few months. That's what it was like. I mean, it's what does that say about me? I don't know. It's kind of pathetic, but I don't care. I love this team, and I don't care what anybody says in the media. This is a complete team. I said this last week too. I'm reinforcing it today. This is a fun, complete team that is really going to be good this year. And the reason I'm going off on this little tangent here, and the whole purpose for this discussion today, is that we're talking about spring training games. We're talking about exhibition games that mean nothing in relation to the season. And we're getting up in arms about player performances in an inning of preseason baseball. It's nuts. Let's just enjoy it for what it is. It's our first taste of 2020 baseball, of watching the guys on the field again, of rooting for the guys on the field again, not rooting against them, not wishing that Steven Matz would disappear, but loving this team. And that's what I do. I love this team no matter what. And I get there's a ton of people that hate the Wilpons and that can't separate the team from the owners. Personally, I don't give a shit who owns the team. I don't care if the Wilpons own the team. Would I like to have them step away and not be seen and heard? Absolutely. I would love that. That would be great. They should sell the team to themselves as a new entity and be a silent majority owner and not make a stink and not be involved. No one would care. No one should care. The owner should be irrelevant to us. They have more money than they know what to do with, even the poor ones like the Wilpons. So we need to stop concerning ourselves with which billionaire owns our team and just love the team. That's what I do. I love the team. I love the name on the front of the jersey that says METS in cursive. That's it. That's it for me. So takeaways from this weekend's games. Again, no wins, but who cares? It's spring training. Takeaways are, number one takeaway was Jeurys Familia looks like a different person. He didn't have a great inning. He had a really kind of messy inning, a kind of Familia-like inning. But man, he looks fantastic. He really did obviously put in a lot of work this offseason to get himself into better shape and better physical condition. So good for him there. I hope in his case it translates into on-field success, because he's only a few seasons removed from being one of the best closers in all of baseball. So good for him on that. Another thing is Jake Marisnick. It was funny as the Mets were talking about, as Gary Cohen was talking about Marisnick sort of effectively replacing Lagares in the lineup, and Marisnick on the very next pitch swings and just clobbers the ball to left center field, and Gary has to say he has more power than Lagares, which was funny. If Marisnick hits and can play some decent defense, which we know he can do with a ladder at least, so it's the hitting part that's the question. But man, if he can hit, that'd be a good problem to have. Really good problem to have. Other takeaway, Luis Guillorme and Andres Jimenez looked really good in the field this weekend. Jimenez especially impressed me. Again, it's spring training. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but he looks a little bit more mature than he did last year, and he's obviously a year older, so that's going to help. But Jimenez is a guy to watch, and I don't know that he's going to be on the radar for this season, because I personally expect a huge campaign from Ahmed Rosario. I think he scratched the surface of his abilities last year, and he's going to build on that this year. So his OPS went up, his on-base percentage went up over 300. I think it was 323 on the season last year. He batted 280-something. I expect all of those numbers to continue to go up. I think 2020 is going to be a huge year for him. And we got to see Rick Porcello. And I think Porcello is going to fill the role of Jason Vargas in that he's a pretty reliable, durable arm who will be out there every fifth day, and he's going to give you a lot of innings, and I think he's going to end up being a better pitcher overall than Vargas was, but we'll see how that plays out as the season approaches. So the bottom line for me with all of this is let's turn off the noise. That's what I'm doing. I'm able to do it. Other people obviously aren't, but whatever. Let's turn it off. Let's be happy about the fact that Mets baseball is back. It's 1:45 right now on Monday afternoon, the 24th. They're playing again this afternoon on the road against the world champion Washington Nationals. Not televised as best as I can remember, so we'll just have to sort of follow along on the box scores like we did in the old days. For this week, I'm going to probably be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be back in the morning or in the afternoon again, but tomorrow will be my last day in town for the week, so I will probably only be recording one more show, and it'll be tomorrow. There's a possibility that I might come back on Friday afternoon, depending on my schedule for the day, but we'll see. So I'll be back tomorrow regardless. We'll talk again then, and until then, thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter, at Mr_Met. If you aren't already doing so, I mean, you obviously should be doing so. If you're not, I don't know why, but do that. Follow me on Twitter. Leave a comment below if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns about what we talked about today. But I'm just excited that baseball's back. So until next time, thanks again for watching, and as always, let's go Mets.